إذا شكرا.
Most of the area's top high school basketball players have already signed with their future colleges, except for the area's top scorer. Start High School's Ant Henderson averaged over 28 points a game, and his college coaches were checking him out this afternoon, so were we. Toledo coaches came yesterday, then today's open gym at Start High School included coaches from Bowling Green and James Madison.
They're here most of the time, but it's pretty neat, but then again, I know I got to play hard every single time because there's somebody's watching me all the time.
Watching to see how this top scorer can become a top distributor at the next level. Anthony's being recruited as a point guard, and he tells us he's working especially hard on his ball handling. At least 5 MAC schools have offered him a basketball scholarship, but right now he does have his favorites.
My name is Anthony Henderson. I'm from Toledo, Ohio. Basketball, which is funny. I had just finished playing professionally in Canada. That was my first professional season, and I was coming out here, like I was trying to figure it out, like what's next? You know, I didn't want to go back to Ohio because there really wasn't much going on. So I was like, I'm gonna go back to LA, I'm gonna go out to LA for the first time. Try to, work out. I knew a couple trainers out here. I'll train, maybe, worst come to worst, I go back to Canada. Really, I had a full-time job. That's what I always say. That's what got me comfortable out here. I was out here trying to figure it out, and then once I got my full-time job, which was in analytics, shout out to Second Spectrum. They really, helped me in like more ways than they would ever understand. They helped me. It's like with analytics for the NBA. So all the crazy stats that you see on ESPN Sports Center, that was a job that I did for 3 years. Highly grateful for it. Never in a million years did I think I would be doing this stuff behind the scenes of basketball. Kind of helped me out a lot was coming to Venice, where we at right now. This is kind of where it started at. When I first moved out here, a lot of people didn't know me. Coming from Toledo is like a small city, so a lot of people know everybody. But LA is a big city. You got to kind of get yourself out there. So what better place is Venice? I had the opportunity to do some stunt double work for Russell Westbrook. I did that. I actually had the opportunity to be in Winning Time. Winning Time was probably my most favorite thing I've done since I've been out here. I had the opportunity to play 12 different characters, which is crazy. 12 different people from back in the 80s. Had a great time with that. Yeah, so it was an audition. People always ask me, especially people from back home, because what I'm doing now, like a lot of people is kind of like what are you doing? Like how was you able to do that? So it's like, I just showed up. It was an audition. I got an email saying that they was looking for this basketball show. And at this time, I knew nothing about this. It was going to be this big show on HBO. It was just, it's a basketball show that's coming out. Pull up to this audition and see what happens. And I pulled up. I went to the audition. It's a funny story about it is when I pulled up, I had a pulled hamstring. So I really couldn't do what I wanted to do, but I still tried it because I'm like, I cannot miss this audition. Like, this is something that could, help me out a lot in the long run. So I pulled up, tried to go to the audition, tried to do the runs, and I was limping. I was terrible. So I went up to the guy. His name is Adon. Shout out to Adon. I walked up to him. I'm like, I tried to do the audition, but I can't. My hamstring messed up. And he looked at me and was like, you good, man. When you walked in the gym, I was already gonna pick you. So go ahead and just rest up your hamstring, and I'm gonna call you back in about 2 to 3 weeks, and we're gonna get you in here. So that's pretty much how it was. And I pulled up. This was actually before COVID, which is crazy. We did the first pilot, and at that time, I thought that was it. But I guess I did a good job, and I kept calling me back, and before we know it, I'm here 6 months later, and then filmed all 10 episodes, and then played 12 characters. So that's kind of how it happened.
Can you name all 12?
I can. It's gonna be tough, but I think I can. So I played Tiny Archibald. I played World Be Free. I played Ricky Sobers. I played Norm Nixon, the double for Norm Nixon. His son was the actual character, but all his basketball stuff, I was responsible for those. Who else we have? Ron Boone. He's a old school Laker guy. I played, who else? Freddie Downtown Brown. These are all guys I never heard of. Like I hit up my dad after every time, they assigned me to a guy. He knew him, but I didn't know him. I think that's about 6 or 7. Who else we got? That's all I got off the top of my head. I wrote them down though. So I can get them to you later. Favorite thing about acting, it would just be just being able to lock into something that's not my normal self. because I'm generally a shy person, so acting kind of gives me that excuse, you know, to get out of my comfort zone, to get out of my normal self, and to be like, all right, I'm not Anthony right now. I'm whoever I'm in character in, and I can just, you know, it's a different type of lock-in, because I always lock in when I'm in basketball. People always say when they come to my games that, why you don't look in the stands? Why you don't say nothing to me? Like, I be calling your name. I'm locked in. Like, I'm locked in on what I got to do. And it's the same way with acting. Like, you lock into these characters. You lock into what your job is on that day. And I love that. Like, my competitive self just be like, all right, for this, however 2 minutes that I'm supposed to be this character, I get to be a whole different person. I don't have to get to be myself for the day. So I love being able to do that. Like I said, White Men Can't Jump, something that I'm filming now. That's something that, you know, LA brought to me. I did a music video with Dennis Rodman, which is probably one of the dopest experiences for me, to be able to be on set with him. That was a major. It was actually an A$AP Ferg and Tyga music video, but the title was called Dennis Rodman. He was on set. It was about him. That was an LA thing that I was, you know, grateful for. Just playing at Venice Beach, playing in the Drew League, like, it's so much stuff. Like, I'm actually happy we're doing this because I get to reflect, and, you know, instead of just always working, to kind of reflect and actually, you know, kind of see the things that I actually did. So them some of the stuff on top of my head that I've done over the last, you know, say 6 to 8 months. So for me, I never thought I would be acting. Like I said, I grew up as a shy kid. They used to call me the quiet storm as a basketball player as a kid. But I'm here now. Like, I've dove into different doors that I never thought I would be in. And because of that, it's like, why stop now? Like, we're gonna take these acting classes. Like, I've had people tell me that I was a great actor and the things that I have done. So the doors is open now. So we're gonna go all the way in here. And yeah, I'm definitely ready to, you know, get that lead role and, you know, just dive all the way in. The sky's the limit at this point. So for sure. It's funny, like my first ever league I played out here, it's a lot more, you know, cameras and a lot of stuff going on out here. Like, it's that basketball. It's still basketball at the end of the day, but my first league I played in, I think I went up and got a dunk. And as soon as I dunked, they stopped the game, and it was like, all right, that guy that got dunked on has to get subbed out for 2 minutes. They brought a cameraman on the court, started interviewing me. I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, this ain't normal basketball. So it's just very just like entertaining out here. It's a lot more than basketball, which I love. At this point in my career, I love that, because a lot of stuff is bigger than basketball. So if I can help myself get out there or help other people get out there more, I'm all for it. I'll have to say Metta. Ron Artest, Metta World Peace. He's number one, just because how down to earth he is. He got a championship with the Lakers. Playing with him, I didn't learn a lot. Like, I learned a lot from him. What other guys have I played with? I actually played with Terrell Owens, which was crazy. Like, I didn't know he was that good of a basketball player. I knew his Hall of Fame degree in football, but to play with him in basketball, you know, was pretty cool. I played with Baron Davis. Baron Davis is a guy that I played with. He actually did some stuff with Boost Mobile. Who else? Hezzy God, you know, he's a super good player, and play with him. Chris Staples. It's a lot of guys. I don't want to leave nobody out. I'm probably think of some more people, but it's a bunch of guys that I could say, you know, help me as far as being in LA and, you know, building up not only my basketball skills, but my content skills, you know, figuring that out too. It's funny that you ask that, because I always say YouTube, that's my baby. Like, that's what I love. My YouTube channel, that's what I love. That's my passion, you know, for real at this point. And it's fun. It's like, when I first came out here, you know, I met a lot of YouTubers, you know, the influencers, you know, people. And, you know, I enjoyed what they was doing, but I wanted to do it, but not with the pranks and, you know, not that type of content. So me and my brother, we had a serious sit down, and it was like, how can we make a YouTube channel that relates to me, that's fun?
So we just kind of brainstormed, like, you know, we see these people, we got these friends, and then they would even come to us and be like, y'all need to do something on YouTube, bro. And I'm like, I don't know what I would do. Like the pranks and stuff, that's not us.
And it was like, let's do basketball stuff. Let's do basketball reaction videos. So that's kind of where the YouTube basketball sit downs kind of came into, and, you know, just my interviews and me growing up, doing different interviews with different people kind of helped me be comfortable to talk in front of the camera. And you know, I think I've been doing YouTube for about a year and a half now, and I love it. I react to new school basketball, but really a lot of old school, like kind of like me diving into the 80s basketball and 90s basketball, just kind of figuring out like what kind of came before me, and I love it. I love it.
Of course, it's more basketball. Of course, it's more. But what else are you looking for next 5 years?
I see myself as being like I like to say lethal shooter is a guy that I like. I love the way he's branded himself as being a very good shooting coach, and that's something that I see myself eventually getting into with the content and everything. Like I can help the generation coming behind me to become better shooters. So like I said, I always say like that's what helped me be in the position I am today is my shooting. So me dissecting my jump shot and to help people become better shooters in 5 to 10 years from now, when I can't jump as high as I can jump now and I can still always shoot, that's something I want to help people in the future, is to become better shooters. I'm a shooting guy. Like that's what paid for my schooling. That's what, you know, got me in Canada, was my ability to shoot. So I'm always down to help the generation that's coming up. I'm always trying to give back. So my content is always to help the younger generation, you know, to help them, you know, kind of help them get to not the NBA, but if the NBA happens, it happens, but to help them get a D1 scholarship, help them to create avenues for themselves and not just wait on people, just to continue to just, you know, put the work in, and, you know, good stuff will end up coming. XvsX has been great for me. Like, I just always say this story, like, I don't even remember how I got introduced to it, but as a basketball guy, when I hear about basketball runs, I'm pulling up. If I got the time, I'm gonna pull up. And I think somebody was like, hey, Metta World Peace, you know, he's a Laker guy. He was somebody that I looked up to, the way he played basketball, just his mentality. And they was like, he's starting this app where he's gonna be designing runs at random parks. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll pull up. You know, I don't have any expectations for it. Like, I just pull up, and he was there ready to hoop with us. So I'm like, oh shoot. So after that, you know, introduction to him, you know, he's been cool ever since that first meeting. He's helped me out in 1,000 ways. Like, the fact that I'm doing this interview right now is crazy. So he's helped me out with many ways I could never imagine. So it's been pretty cool. So Boost Mobile is another reason why, like, you know, I'm very thankful for them. They helped me out just as far as just like helping me build up my brand, my content ideas. Is just like they invite me to different events that I never would have been invited to without them. So, you know, just kind of just them being the guys that help me push myself, help me motivate me to continue to create content. And, you know, they just kind of sponsor events, and it's just been a good partnership with them so far. And this is just the beginning of it too, so it's so much more in store with them. So I'm very excited for what they got for me.
I would just say his character. Like, you know, that's one thing that I really took from him, is his character. And that's something that our dad always instilled in us too, is like, you know, you don't really have to talk about what you're doing. You don't have to be this, you know, boisterous person and always just bragging on what you got going on. Ant's character, kind of where he's been, like, you wouldn't even know that Ant is one of the best players in the city. You wouldn't even know that just based off who he is, like the most laid back, chill dude that ain't really gonna talk about it. So, you know, I think that his character go a long way, and I think that's something you can really take from him, and just that humbleness and the character of being, you know, just, hey, it is what it is. I'm this guy, but I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna brag about it. I'm still gonna be a good person about it, but I'm still gonna do what I do and have confidence with it. So, you know, I think that's something that everybody can take from Ant and just try to learn from, and, you know, just be a good person at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's whole different. Yeah. I think what I would like it now is I'm kind of, you know, I do everything on my terms. Like, I do basketball, how I grew up playing my whole life. It was very organized, very structured. You have to be here at this time. You have to do these drills. But now, you know, at this age, at this point in my life, I'm kind of, you know, the one in the driver's seat of, you know, my basketball career and the type of content I want, the type of things I want to do. So it's actually, I know, I kind of love the situation I'm in now. It's not, you know, I always say I'm not in the NBA, but, you know, I'm still chasing my dreams. I'm still, you know, loving what I'm doing every day. So I can't beat that.